Hey guys, yesterday I put up a post that sources are telling me RFK Jr. is dropping out of the race this week and endorsing Donald Trump. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why that is. I actually made this video this morning before I went to work, and it was uploaded all day, all day. And I finally thought, maybe I should just delete this video and do another one, because hindsight is 2020, and half the video I explained the things I agree with RFK Jr. about, and I might have said some things that could have got me canceled from YouTube. It's literally got me pulled down. So if you want to see what I agree with RFK Jr., check out my Rumble channel, because I can say anything I want over there. But RFK Jr. is probably gonna drop out this week, I would say by the end of the week, and endorse Donald Trump for president. And although he has a lot of liberal views, just like Musk was never considered a conservative Republican, they're seeing things that a lot of Americans are seeing, both on the right and the left, that our government is heading towards such a control type of government, socialist, communist, call it what you want, where the state controls us. Freedom of speech is being taken away, freedom of religion, freedom of medical choice, a lot of things that Americans just took for granted, just the basics, the foundation of America is being attacked. And these men, although we disagree on a lot of political things, they're men of integrity, and this is why they're supporting Trump. And one big reason, RFK Jr. is old enough to remember President Dwight D. Eisenhower, war hero general, who said, although the military complex and the industrial complex need an alliance, we need these guys to work together with us to help protect America. He said the military-industrial complex can very easily be abused, and he warned all Americans to pay attention to this. And RFK Jr. tells a story, I've heard him say it several times, that his uncle, JFK, was approached by the head of the CIA and was told, we need to send 200,000 troops to Vietnam. And JFK said, no way, I'm not getting our troops killed. They're going to get killed. They're going to be caught in a quagmire. I'm not doing it. And according to RFK Jr., within 2 weeks, his uncle was killed. JFK was killed. And then shortly after that, LBJ sent 200,000 troops to Vietnam. So RFK Jr. is aware of the dangers of the military-industrial complex. And like the rest of us, we've seen every president, whether Republican or Democrat, since then, just get us into wars, war after war after war. That was until Donald Trump. Not one new war. In fact, he had signed 5 peace deals in the Middle East called the Abraham Accords, and there was about to be a 6th one signed by Saudi Arabia. Enemies of Israel for 50 years have now, 60 years, however long they've been in existence, 70 years, now signed deals to be at not only peace with Israel, but to cooperate and trade with Israel and recognize Israel as a state. And Trump did this. The way Trump did this was he knew Iran was the trouble in the Middle East. Iran funds the Hamas terrorists, the Houthi terrorists, the Hezbollah terrorists, all the terrorists in the Middle East are funded with Iran's money. So he put on such hard sanctions that he broke them financially. And in Europe, there was no war in Europe because he broke Russia. Russia's number one source of money is oil. Well, we unleashed American energy. We became energy independent, and the price of oil went down so low per barrel. Even if Russia wanted to invade Ukraine, they couldn't. So he got peace through strength, not military strength, economic strength. But he did keep a strong military. And even Eisenhower said it's important to have a strong military and this alliance with the industrial complex to help ramp things up when we need it ramped up. But it's apt to abuse. And Trump did not abuse it. So I think that is a huge reason why RFK Jr. is going to endorse Trump. But he also seen the attack on freedom of speech. He's not even a conservative. And the big tech medias just squashed everything he said. They took down, he had interviews with scientists and doctors, but it didn't agree with the mainstream, the established big pharma industrial complex, which makes more money than the military industrial complex. They labeled him a lunatic. So he sees that, just like Musk seen how big tech was censoring everyday Americans. And he's like, wait a minute, freedom of speech is like our First Amendment. That's like our first freedom. And these guys are censoring it. So this is why Musk bought X and he endorsed Trump. Because Trump, unlike any other president, when he went to the White House, he didn't enrich himself. He actually lost money because a lot of people didn't like him. So they boycotted his hotels and stuff. Biden, Obama, Bush, Clinton, they all went in and got richer. They all went in and got richer. He didn't even take a salary. Trump didn't even take a salary. Every year he gave his salary to a charity. And then I'm going to have dumb comments like, oh, Trump's no saint. You think he's a saint. I'm not voting for a saint. I'm voting for who could run this country the best and least corrupt. That's what I'm voting for. You know, I have a wonderful priest who I admire greatly and think he's one of the most godly men I ever met. But if I needed brain surgery, I wouldn't call my priest and ask him to operate on my brain. I would call a surgeon, the best surgeon I could find. And if that surgeon happened to be an atheist, I would still let him operate on my head versus my holy priest who's never was trained in surgery. So we're hiring someone for a job, and the job is to run the country. And it's as clear as day. We've seen how he ran it for 4 years and we were in no wars. And not only that, for the first time in 30 years, blue collar wages, real wages, actually went up 9%. Under Biden, they went down, and everybody else, they were stagnant. So there's a lot of reasons for this, but the main reason is the corruption of the establishment keeps things at a status quo, and they enrich their donors. And another thing RFK Jr. seen very clearly was that the Democrat machine is not going to allow a Democrat process to elect their leader. They wanted Obama, they crushed Hillary, and Obama got in. Then they wanted Hillary, they crushed Bernie Sanders. I mean, thanks to Julian Assange, we've seen how the Democrat National Committee, who said they were neutral, they're supposed to be neutral, put all the money behind Hillary, set up all the elections around Hillary, and even colluded with CNN. This is a fact. Donna Brazile, she got fired from CNN, like they acted like they didn't know, gave the questions to the debate that CNN was hosting between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. So the Democrat machine got Hillary Clinton. Then they wanted Biden. They wanted Biden in 2020, and he was losing, and then he won a couple states, and it was still close. And then they put pressure on everyone else to drop out and endorse Biden. And then for 3.5 years, as us common sense conservatives saying, this guy has dementia and he's running our country. The media lied to us, the Democrats lied to us, but the minute the polls were so bad, they knew he couldn't win. They're like, yep, he's got dementia, he's got to go. And they forced him out. And we now know, according to his aides, Anita Hill, one of his aides that worked for Obama too, that Nancy Pelosi gave him an ultimatum. Either you go out as a hero, or we're going to do the 25th Amendment and force you out. So they forced him out because the powers that be, and who are the powers that be? The billionaire donors. The billionaire donors, because Nancy Pelosi was told, not only will Biden not get another penny from the donors, but none of the congressmen, congresswomen, or senators will either. So the billionaire donors, and this is the military industrial complex, this is big pharma, This is big tech. They call the shots. Now you say, oh, Republicans are the same. No, the Republican establishment hates Donald Trump. They didn't want him in 2016. They didn't want him in 2020. And they don't want him now. But somehow Republicans were able to preserve a free and fair election in our primaries. So Donald Trump is the man. He won the Republican nomination freely and fairly. So RFK Jr. seeing this in real time, how not only the Democrats crushing free speech, crushing democracy. Joe Biden got 14 million votes and they forced him out for a woman who got 0 votes. They chose her. They didn't even do, everyone assumed they would do a mini primary. Like, no, she's the one we want. She's gonna be the one. So he sees they're the most undemocratic. So when they tell us, when Kamala Harris tells us that if the Democrats get a majority in the Senate, they're gonna get rid of the filibuster and she's gonna pack the course with 6 more judges. So you'll have 9 judges. Right now it's 6-3 judges that are originalists that just interpret the Constitution and 3 that are liberal activists that use the Constitution to make up whatever law they support. Instead of having it 6-3, they're going to get 6 more judges. It's going to be 9-6. So whatever law the Democrats pass, the Supreme Court will uphold. And the first law they said they're going to do is codify Roe v. Wade, make it illegal for states like Florida to ban abortion. Basically, in Florida, abortion is banned right now. DeSantis signed a 6-week bill. So basically banned abortion in Florida. They're going to get rid of that, and they want a bill, and they'll sign it, and they'll get it rubber stamped by their Supreme Court if they pack it, saying that a woman can abort her child through the entire 9 months of pregnancy. And this is what they're telling us. This is what they're telling us. And they're going to make, if they get rid of the filibuster, they're going to vote to make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. a state, assuming that they'll always vote Democrat and they'll stay in the White House, just like Hugo Chavez. So RFK Jr. sees this corruption, sees this power play, and his vice president nominee, it's a woman, I forget her name, actually said this in a recent interview, that, we really don't want to drop out because even though it looks like we can't win, we can pave a way for a third party to eventually win. But we're pulling votes from Trump, and our biggest nightmare is a Harris presidency. We see the corruption. We see the socialist, anti-freedom of speech, anti-freedom of medical choices, and how they're just sold out to Big Pharma, how they're sold out to the military-industrial complex. So she said, as it's a really hard decision to drop out, but if we drop out, we're going to endorse Trump and do everything we can to get Trump elected. So I think this is going to happen for those reasons. There's other reasons. I can't, I made a long video today. I'm afraid to say some of the things, but just check out my Blue Collar Catholic on Rumble. I haven't uploaded anything in a while because I'm between work and doing this. I don't have time, but basically before everything started with the pandemic, I knew what was going to happen because it happened with every other jab that's ever been invented. Just most people don't notice because it wasn't as in the news, but basically none of them work and they're all dangerous. And RFK Jr. knows that too. So they silence us. That's why we both got to go on Rumble to talk about it. But anyway, I think this is a good thing. I think Trump realizes how entrenched the deep state is in our justice system, how they put all these bogus lawsuits, because they don't want a free vote. They don't want to vote an election. They want this guy in jail, so he's going to put some people in charge to really weed out, the corruption in law, in our federal law enforcement. And then if Musk comes aboard, he'll know how to break up this corruption in big tech. If he brings RFK Jr. aboard on his team, he can sick him on the CDC and the NIH to break up that corruption and expose them. I mean, this is huge, but it's dangerous because You know, people don't want to give up power. And these people had power for 12 of the last 16 years. Think about that. Obama 8 years, Biden 4. And Hillary was supposed to have the other 4. They misjudged us blue collar guys coming out in droves, people that never voted before and don't pick up for pollsters getting Trump in 2016. Otherwise, it would have been the Democrats had control for 16 years. They don't want to see control. They want control forever. And so it's going to be dangerous for these guys, and it's going to be hard because they got the media on their side, they got big tech on their side. But I think the average American that normally don't vote gets out and votes like they did in 2016 will win this, and we'll make America great again. So God bless and stay Catholic.